Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are wrestling with a question that I think hits home for pretty much every single language learner out there. How do you get past the basics? How do you stop sounding like, I don't know, a carefully translated instruction manual?
Right.
We're doing a deep dive into how to communicate in English authentically. And by that, we mean bringing your true personality, your wit, your energy right into the conversation.
And that shift it's just so crucial. That's really our mission for this deep dive.
Yeah.
We've been looking at sources documenting this really widespread experience where learners, when they switch to English, they feel like they have to put on a different personality.
A muted one almost.
A very muted one. They start obsessing over grammar, they panic about every little mistake, and they're aiming for this kind of linguistic perfection.
Which is the enemy of sounding real.
It's the absolute enemy, ironically, yeah.
Right. Because English isn't just about vocabulary, is it? It's a channel for your voice, your style, your whole emotional register. And if you hit the mute button on all that stuff, you lose the richness of the conversation before you even start. So our goal here is to help you integrate your real self into how you speak English.
Oh, let's start by maybe defining the core problem. We're calling it the safe mode phenomenon.
I love this analogy. It's so powerful because it's so relatable. You know the feeling. You might be super quick-witted or loud or expressive in your own language, but the second you switch into English, poof, it all just disappears.
Yeah.
You get quieter, more shy, incredibly measured in how you speak, almost clinical.
Precisely. It's that experience of feeling like a download safe mode version of yourself.
Totally.
You're operating on the bare minimum. You can get the job done. The meeting gets across.
But all the interesting stuff is gone.
All the engaging, high-energy features of your personality have been, for the moment, just shut down.
So if the personality is still in there, why does switching languages trigger this safe mode? What is actually happening in our brains when we lose that spark?
It's really a resource allocation problem. It's all about cognitive load.
Okay.
So when you're speaking a new language, you're dedicating a huge chunk of your mental energy to just self-monitoring.
You're proofreading in real time.
You're constantly running this internal grammar check.
Yeah.
Did I use the right tense there? Is that the right preposition? Should I have said that?
God, that sounds exhausting.
It is exhausting. And because all the mechanics of the sentence are demanding so much of your brain's resources, there's nothing left over for the expressive stuff.
Right.
So you stop focusing on the emotion or the actual story you're trying to tell, and you focus completely on the performance.
And then you start avoiding things.
You avoid humor because timing is really hard. You don't show strong emotions because nuance is tricky.
Yeah.
You just stick to these short, simple, and ultimately very flat sentences.
And the outcome of this super cautious, stressed out performance.
That conversation feels robotic.
Yeah. And this is the tragic feedback loop the sources talk about. Learners then mistakenly think, oh, I guess I just have a boring personality in English.
Or I'm not funny in English.
Exactly. But it's not true. The real cause is just that cognitive stress of policing your own grammar constantly.
And if we sort of connect this to the bigger picture, the key insight is that fluency isn't just about making fewer mistakes. It's about reducing the fear of making mistakes.
So you can free up that mental space.
You got it. You need to give yourself permission to be expressive, even if the grammar isn't 100% perfect.
Which brings us perfectly to the next big insight. We have to shift our focus away from perfect vocabulary and more towards genuine expression.
Yes.
Because personality, really, it lives in the tone, not just in the words themselves.
And what's so fascinating here is how universal these elements of expression actually are. Your personality is defined by how you say something, maybe even more than what you say.
What do you mean by that?
Well, think about the things that just translate instantly across any culture. Tone of voice, your facial expressions, a strategic pause, laughter.
Right.
These things are basically linguistic universals. And the crucial part is they don't require perfect grammar or some huge vocabulary.
Okay. This is where it gets really good because the sources gave us this fantastic concrete comparison that just illustrates this so perfectly.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's take a basic functional personality-free sentence, something almost every learner uses. I had a busy day.
Okay, it's fine. It communicates the information.
The bare minimum. But listen to the personalized alternatives. They mean the exact same thing. Your day was full, but they're charged with completely different energy. Your personality comes through.
Go on.
Okay, so if you're naturally a high-energy, maybe slightly dramatic person, you can say, oh my gosh, today was crazy busy. I barely even sat down.
I can feel that energy. Or what if you're tired and more reflective? You might lean back and just sigh, man, today drained all my energy. I need a nap.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're more figurative, more intellectual. You could say, guess what? Today was a marathon, not a sprint.
See, the information is identical, but the prosody, the rhythm, the pitch, that whole emotional overlay, that's what tells the listener who you really are.
So the key takeaway here is it's actually revolutionary for learners. You, the listener, you get to choose which style fits you. The energized one, the reflective one, the dramatic one.
You don't have to settle for that flat, generic, safe mode version.
So that naturally leads to the question, okay, I know my personality.
Yeah.
How do I actively, intentionally inject it into my English?
And we have 4 key strategies for that, pulled right from the source material. They're like an ignition switch for your personality.
All right, let's get into the toolkit, and let's really unpack these, not just list them. Can you detail the first 2 keys?
I can. The first one is maybe the most counterintuitive for a lot of learners because their teachers probably told them to stop doing it.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
Key number 1 is embrace natural fillers.
Ah.
We're talking about those conversational lubricants that native speakers use all the time. Things like, to be honest. And of course, like...
Okay, wait a minute. I know a lot of learners worry about this. They think if they use like or, too much, they'll sound uncertain or maybe less educated, especially in a professional setting. Isn't there a fine line you have to walk?
That is a brilliant challenge, and it gets to the functional insight here. Yes, the fine line exists, but the function of these fillers is vital. They aren't just empty sounds.
There's signals.
They are signals. They signal that you're processing a complex thought. They buy you a critical half-second to formulate your next thought without giving up the floor.
So it's not a sign of confusion, but a signal of active thinking.
Exactly. They also help manage the conversation. If I say, I went to the store, and I saw this incredible thing that, is a bridge, it keeps you engaged, and it signals, I'm not done with my thought yet. Using them correctly doesn't make you sound unprofessional. It makes you sound fluent in the actual rhythm of real spontaneous speech.
That really unpacks the function well. Okay, what's the second key?
Number 2, use expressions that match your vibe. And this requires some real self-awareness. You have to match your language to your natural energy level.
Okay.
So if you're a naturally energetic, high-octane person, someone who kind of bounces into a room, you should feel totally empowered to use those high-frequency, excited expressions.
So instead of just saying, that's good, you'd be saying things like, that's awesome, or I love that, or that's incredible.
Yes. You are channeling your real energy through your vocabulary.
That makes sense.
And conversely, if you're a naturally calmer person, maybe more reserved or analytical, you don't have to fake that high energy.
Right, that would feel awful.
It would feel fake and it would drain you. You should opt for phrases that match that calmer frequency, like, that's nice, or sounds good to me, or I find that interesting.
The power here is choosing language that feels comfortable and authentic to you, to your emotional default, not mimicking some stereotype of an English speaker.
The key is consistency. Your personality should feel stable, no matter what language you're speaking.
Let me jump in with the final 2 strategies, which are more about the physical side of things. Number 3 is so important, and it's often the first thing to go in safe mode. Use your body language.
Oh, this is critical. Personality is so tied to physical expression.
It is. Think about it. When that performance stress hits, you physically freeze up. You stop moving your hands, you start gesturing, your facial muscles get all tight, the smile is gone, your physical energy, which is a huge part of who you are, it just drops to 0.
And we know that physical expression actually helps anchor linguistic memory and emotional connection. The sources really emphasize this. Personality is communicated through physical energy, not just sound waves.
So when you suppress your natural gestures, it doesn't matter if you're Italian or Brazilian or Korean, you're suppressing a part of your identity that actually helps carry the message.
It's true.
Even on a Zoom call, people can feel your energy. When you let your body language match your natural expressiveness, your English just feels more alive, more confident.
It's a physical sign that your mind is liberated.
Exactly. And that flows right into our 4th, and I'd say most liberating strategy of all.
Which is?
Don't hide your accent.
Yes. This is a massive mental hurdle for so many people.
It is. Why is embracing your accent so critical for personality?
Because your accent is not a flaw. It's not a mistake. It is a marker of your identity.
It tells a story.
It tells a beautiful story about where you've been, your whole linguistic journey. And the pressure to sound accentless is one of the most resource-intensive things you can do.
How so?
Well, every single time you try to modify a vowel sound or smooth out a consonant to sound more native, you are stealing precious cognitive power.
Power that could be used for something else.
Power you could be using to express humor or empathy or enthusiasm. You're taking it away from your personality.
So the goal isn't necessarily that everyone finds your accent charming, which the sources do say is often the case, but it's more about removing the mental burden of trying to hide it.
That's it exactly. When you stop worrying about masking your accent, you free up all that cognitive space to actually channel your personality. You can suddenly dedicate those brain resources to choosing a perfect expression or landing a joke with the right timing.
It's the ultimate mental shift toward just being authentic.
It is.
Okay, so we've identified the safe mode problem, and we've got the 4 keys. Using fillers, matching your vibe, using your body, and liberating your accent. What does this all mean for someone listening today? How do we put this into practice?
We are issuing the practice challenge from the source material. It's a simple but really powerful exercise.
Okay, what is it?
Tonight or tomorrow, describe something mundane from your day in English. But here's the rule. You have to actively focus on channeling your real, full personality into that description.
And really lean into it. If you're normally a funny person, try to exaggerate a boring story about waiting in line at the bank.
Yeah.
If you're dramatic, express those big emotions about a difficult meeting, even if the vocabulary isn't perfect.
And if you're calm and analytical, speak softly, clearly. Make your language reflect your thoughtful nature.
And here's the step that really makes it stick. Record yourself.
This is the key. Record your usual cautious, safe mode English, and then record your personality-infused English. We absolutely guarantee you will notice a huge difference.
Not just in the words.
No, not just in the content, but in the confidence, the naturalness of your voice, your energy, everything.
And the ultimate goal here, remember, it's not to sound like some idealized native speaker you saw in a movie.
No.
The goal is simply to sound like you.
In English.
Yeah.
And that really is the beautiful paradox of fluency. The more you let your full, authentic personality come out, the more confident and natural and genuinely engaging your English becomes.
Fluency flows from identity.
It flows from identity, not just from grammar drills.
This has been a fascinating deep dive into identity and language. Remember, your personality is the most powerful communication tool you have. It doesn't just go along with fluency, it enhances it exponentially.
Don't leave your best self behind when you switch languages.
Yeah.
And here's the final provocative thought we want to leave you with today. If that simple act of recording yourself speaking authentically reveals parts of your communication, humor, sarcasm, deep empathy, that you didn't even realize were missing, what other hidden parts of your identity could be unlocked by allowing yourself to be less safe mode and more authentically you?
Use that challenge to keep exploring that profound connection between who you are and how you speak. Until next time.